Welcome to Whose Show Is It Anyways? The topic today and the host today, well, the hosts are me and TA. Should be interesting just
Go
because
us.
of that simple fact.
Fuck.
What?
I said go us.
Go us, definitely. Fuck yeah, I forgot we have fucking sound effects.
Especially
Fuck
when I'm in the room, we party. I was gonna ask the fucking intro and then have just fucking tone because it goes fucking and here's your host and then fucking just cut from there. But shit happens. It's not my show. That's why we have to work. Anyway.
Welcome to Who Shows It Anyways. Me and TA are the hosts this week, and our topic, the fucking controversial topic of phone call etiquette. Oh, what type of fucking topic is this, by the way?
This is a bullshit topic because I know I'm bad at it.
So when I first saw it, I was like, you could take this a few different ways. You could be like phone call etiquette, like between when, let's say I give TA a call and I'm telling them about my day, right? I could, the etiquette I have there is different than when I call a customer and say, hey, you need to pay your bill.
All right.
I use quite a few more four-letter words when I talk to TA.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Same.
So it's like you could go there or you could complain about telemarketers.
I mean, or you could, like, from the fucking business end of it, fucking somebody calls you, supposed to pick up and fucking 3 rings. Bullshit rules like that.
I don't understand the 3-ring rule. I really don't.
God, like, especially it happened because I worked the delivery game for 8 years. And so fucking, I'm going to swear. James, can I swear?
Yeah, I mean, I swore in Mars.
Yeah, okay, fuck it. All right, but I worked the delivery game for 8 years, and it sucked because one of the things you had to do is hop on phones and take orders. Some of them would just be back-to-back fucking phones, and especially in my first one at Pizza Hut, they preached about you gotta get that phone in fucking 3 rings. Otherwise, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I worked at a pizza place that was the same way.
Those gods are gonna come and get you if you don't get it in 3 rings.
Oh man, no! I worked at a round table, and they were like, it was like 3 rings, or else everyone's in trouble. So people were like racing to the phone.
Right.
I like fell one time. Like I was doing. I was basically the cleaner, so I was like cleaning dishes and shit. And I'm like going, jamming out to music in my headphones because they let me do that, which was cool. I'm sitting there listening to fucking No Ceilings, Lil Wayne, the whole fucking deal. I'm just like fucking head bobbing. And all of a sudden I hear ring. I'm like, oh, all right. Shelby will get it. Ring. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, fuck. And then I just like, right as I was hearing the third one, I'm like booking it. And I fucking slipped and fell. The back of my head almost hit the tile. Luckily, I put my shoulders back a little bit, and my shoulder, and I hit my funny bone. Fuck the funny bone. Nothing's funny about the funny bone. God damn it.
Especially when it fucking gets inflicted with pain.
I mean, why is it called the funny bone? Nothing's funny. I mean, it's funny when someone hits their funny bone if it's not me.
You're sure as shit ain't laughing fucking after.
Oh, fuck no.
Oh,
but no, the whole like phone call deal where like if you work in a business and like you have to pick up the phone so fast. Like, I mean, in some instances I can understand it, but at the same time, the person calling, if you're calling like a round table and they don't pick up right away, it's because they're fucking busy, guys. Call back in 2 minutes if you need to. I mean, I guess it's, an Amazon world where everyone needs to be instantly satisfied and all, but I mean,
like, our anomalies cohorts.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm very patient. Like, I've always been patient about like 99% of things. There's some things I am impatient about. Fucking get it together, Raiders. But
True.
Anyways, phone calls. I'm very patient about phone calls. If I give someone a call and they don't pick up, if it's a cell phone, I just hit them with a text. Hey, give me a call when you get a chance. I did that to Marco today. Say, hey, bud, When you get a minute, give me a call.
Do you fucking respond? Like, that's another thing too with the fucking phone etiquette. Because like, it's like another thing you learn. It's like when they send you a text message, how long till you oblige with a follow-up text message saying "K" or the phone call itself.
Yeah, and it's the text to call thing is always interesting because there are certain people who just aren't phone call people. You know what I mean? Like I am a phone call person. If I need to get something figured out, I'll call you about it.
My fucking shit don't work, and like, quite frankly, I need to fucking file an insurance claim and get a new one because it's just that bad.
But it's like, for instance, like this weekend, Tanner came up with a fucking great idea that we're going to talk about on the Anomalies. Listen to that also, people. But Tanner called me. He's like, hey, I have an idea for when we have a meetup possibly, or maybe even a TV show.
Fuck.
We talked about it for like 10, 15 minutes on the phone. I think him and his lady were in the car. Me and my wife were in the car. My wife got a crack out of it because, you know, she already fucking deals with me, let alone my friends from the internet who are equally as entertaining.
Right.
But that's another thing. Is it okay to speakerphone?
I think you gotta, like, the thing I read, like, or at least it's like it's like, you know how they sometimes fucking record you and like you have to have like 2-person consent sort of thing. So I know it's like courteous to say if you're like on speakerphone and like who you're near, introducing them into the call. But beyond that, I don't. Sometimes fucking my shit don't work, and my earbuds are dead, and so fucking I have to resort to speakerphone in order to be fucking heard.
Well, it's like, for instance, I was walking through Walmart the other day. This old lady was sitting there. She was loud as hell on speakerphone with her grandkids, asking her grandkids what type of fucking chips they like.
Oh my god, dude! Like, have you ever seen that fucking Geico commercial? I think with the dude where it preaches to be not to
Don't
act
be like your parents.
And one of them is they're in the middle of like a Home Depot looking thing, and he literally swats the phone out of hands. We do not do speakerphone in the middle of the store.
I mean, it's true because like I'm sitting here and I'm picking out. I think I was getting some Oreos or some shit. Anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm picking out, what type of Oreos do I want? Do I want mocha, whatever? Do I want the fucking OG? Do I want triple stuff, double stuff, whatever?
Oh my god!
And here's this grandma over here talking to little Billy on the other end. Is it Doritos or is it Tostitos? And then like, it's Tostitos and salsa. And she's like, you say Doritos and salsa? That doesn't sound good.
Oh
no.
God.
Tostitos and salsa. And like this went on. Like I took longer getting my cookies just so I could hear this. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the story. It's all about the stupid shit you run into. Because it's very rare that you run into one of those in the wild. You know what I mean? One of those have to be on speakerphone. Because I have a friend who has to be on speakerphone.
Well, like my phone's so bad, like if I have to resort to earbuds to learn to talk, like my shit's all gummed up with shit. Because like if I talk like regular, like this way, nobody hears me. Have to have earbud in order to be heard. It's
really?
It's my phone's not that. Yeah.
I had that happen to me one time. I dropped my phone out of my garbage truck. So, so inside a garbage truck, there's a wing window, right? And it pops out and it lets air come in. So I'm sitting there and I had my phone in the wing window and I wasn't, paying attention. I was like, oh, it's getting kind of hot in here. I took off my flannel. Man, it's still kind of hot in here. I'm just going to pop the wing window. Didn't even pay attention. I'm going like 25 down the road. I pop the wing window open, door, phone stays there for a second. I hit a bump. All of a sudden I hear, and it was one of these ones that are like glass back iPhones. And it fucked my phone up. Yeah. You have a glass back. Oh, you got colored too?
Yeah.
Mine's bright as blue.
Mine's red. But like you can kind of see how fucking glass back is not a fruition thing.
Oh no. Are you a psychopath that doesn't put a case on his phone?
I was a case holder, but after actually this happened inside of a case. Believe it or not. Yeah. And then once that happened, I was like, well, I mean, I'm gambling with the front. I do have insurance on it. So I was just like, fuck it. Take it out of the case. Until I file the insurance claim and get a new one. Which I haven't. I'm like poor, but but one day I'll get there.
Well, it's iPhone specifically, like FaceTimes are awkward sometimes. Yeah. Fun story about the person who I hosted with, last time I did this, Marco. It was I think it was around 4th of July this last year. I text him. We're texting back and forth. I Snapchat him a picture of me drinking wine. He finds that, I'm going to FaceTime Ronnie. I'm at my in-laws' house. Okay. We all know how Marco is. I'm FaceTiming by the pool, enjoying myself. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey, I'm at my in-laws' place. No one's around right now. What's up? And we're talking. And everyone has a look on FaceTime like, hey, there's people here now. I gave Marco the look. Marco's not very good at picking up signals.
And I met him in person, so I can attest it.
So Marco's sitting there talking about Jimmy and Jill and fucking Jack and the Beanstalk, all sorts of weird shit because Marco's Marco and he's a little high. Mm-hmm. And my father-in-law walks by me. He kind of just looks at me and gives me this look like, what the fuck are you doing? And I muted it. And I'm like, I'm just watching a video. And it's just Marco rambling on. He's just fucking rambling on about some story about fucking one of whoever's friends or whatever. And I'm like, motherfucker. Like, I gave you the look like, hey, I tilted my head. I opened my eyes and I'm like, it's time to shut the fuck up. Or at least, PG or, at least fucking PG-13 it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Really straighten up, game face.
Yeah. There's no reason to be double rated R. Come on. You know what I mean?
Rated R. I think if I remember correct, because I used to work in the movie theaters and putting together movies on film, and I think the one beyond rated R, because NC-17 was the one below rated R. There is rated R, and I'm pretty sure it's either double or triple X. Is the hardcore one.
It's hardcore. Triple X is hardcore.
Well, Triple X is hardcore porn. Triple X is hardcore porn regardless, but I'm pretty sure it's double X for gnarlier than rated R, but not quite hardcore porn. Something like that.
So
they did away with it.
Crazy shit are only 1X away.
Right.
Damn.
Imagine
if you fuck up on a movie one time and you accidentally put triple X. People are going to be very upset.
But I'm pretty sure they did away with that shit. And I'm pretty sure it's just R because you don't see any NC-17 shits fucking movies anyway either.
I remember that too because wasn't it NC-17 was for anybody 17 or older?
Yeah.
And R was 18 or older?
Right.
What's the difference of a year?
I think that's what the movie industry said as a whole. There's no real. We're not really protecting any kids, and the content's really not that much different.
And if you've ever talked to a 16 or 15-year-old nowadays, there's no difference between a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old with what they fucking watch.
Well, fuck. Once they turn into fucking teenagers, it's the fences are open.
Oh yeah. Shit.
Unleash the fury.
When I was 14 or 15, I knew cuss words my mom didn't.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
Right?
My mom works for a fucking trucking company. She hears a lot of cussing all day. But it's interesting with the whole phone call thing. How professional do you need to be in certain situations? I ran into this the other day, right? I call a customer who I know personally. And I'm talking to him, and I was using like, hey, this is Ronnie from Wire Transfer, blah, blah. I'm just calling you about, give him the whole spiel. He's like, hey, Ronnie, you don't have to fucking talk like that.
Oh my God, I know. Like I do that when I'm servicing the mail people, I'm like the same way. Tyler here from Midwest Connect, here for your mail.
Yeah,
I know I don't have to do that, but it's like, oh, come on.
Well, as soon as you're in like that work mode, like the other day I answered my cell phone. So I get calls about work on my cell phone quite often.
Right.
And I have to call customers sometimes on my cell phone quite often. And I called the customer, didn't pick up. He didn't oblige to the 3-ring rule, okay? Real asshole, right?
What's your ass to voicemail?
So he calls, and I'm the same way. I have earphones, like the little plug-in like earbuds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm driving down the road, and I hear it going off, and I just assume it's him because I just called him. So I'm guessing he's giving me the common courtesy of calling me back and seeing what the hell I wanted.
Right.
I answered, and I was like, "Ronnie with Wire Transfer, how can I help you?" And it was my wife. My wife's like, the fuck is this about? You don't have to say that. It's me. I said, I didn't look at my phone, to be honest. To be honest, I just answered it because I thought it was a customer. And then sure as shit, right as I said that, the customer called. I was like, hey, I gotta go. I got another one on the other line. Click. And then I use the actual one. But it's interesting because like everyone has a business talking voice and then they have a out of business talking voice. Like I figured that out real quick because when I first started working with my family, I talked the same way every time.
Right.
And then I got one complaint, and it was from a county worker about how I called them about the wastewater treatment plant. I was like, hey, this shit's fucked up. When we got back into our trailer, like I just laid it out like I was talking to TA, right? And this guy's like, he calls me back and he's like, Mr. Watson. And I'm like, it's me. What's up, man? And he's like, hey, I got your message. Interesting message. And I was like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? Like, this is how I talk. Like, this is how all my friends talk.
Like, I can envision the voicemail starting out there with like, hey, this shit's fucked up.
Yeah. I think the voicemail went something like this, like, hey, man, it's Ronnie, Wire Transfer. I'm just telling you, this shit's kind of fucked up. One of your guys backed into my fucking water tank. Or no, the sludge tank. I'm like, I'm going to have to send someone over to fix this fuck up. That's going to cost you some money, just so you know. Like, I'm not like saying like, hey man, like I need to meet up with you about cost or like I'll get you a quote. I'm like saying, hey, this is going to cost you money. You're going to pay me the money. I was doing it like I was like talking to fucking one of my coworkers. You know what I mean?
Like you were talking like you're in the mall, like, see,
yeah, like
I'm going to break your fucking kneecaps and you're going to fucking pay me, all right? All right.
And what's funny about it, this was around the Super Bowl 3 or 4 years ago, right? And he calls me and he's like, hey, like next time, because I guess his receptionist was the first person to hear the voicemail. And she's like, she's not a cusser. She doesn't like cussing.
Oh my God.
And he's like, hey, if you leave a message, try to be as like short and sweet and to the point without using 4-letter words. And that's where I got that phrase, 4-letter words, fuck, bitch. I mean, bitch is a 5-letter word, so I don't know why that falls under. But he's like, hey, like,
somehow ass is 3 letters and yet FCC compliant like a third of the day. So it's weird.
A third of well, is it at night? It's after like 9 or whatever.
It's like at night, and you can also obtain some sort of freak license to fucking do it another 8 hours a day.
I mean, FCC regulations could be a topic on this show because some of them are fucking wild.
Yeah, like I've been looking into possibly like bootlegging, like renting radios, like radio towers. Like you can rent certain frequencies on radio towers to transmit for like pennies on the dollar. So like that's how I've been learning about a little bit about this stuff. It's weird. But yeah, you can start a radio station yourself like real quick.
Speaking of radio, is there like etiquette to like radio, like calling into a radio show?
Fuck, I couldn't tell you. Like the times I've called in, like I've either been known, and especially because I was Big If True and, you know, a dozen, like all those times I've known about. But beyond that, I think you're at the will of whatever the call screener has for you.
Yeah, because like for instance, when Pat McAfee was with Barstool and I used to call in to his show quite frequently, every time I called in, it was a different like etiquette, in my opinion.
Right.
Because the topic changed and everything like that. Like, I feel like there should be a blanket like call etiquette for each show. Like a screener should give you like, hey, keep it short and sweet, or like, hey, like, because there's some really fucking ass calls that call on the radio.
Very true.
I mean, you know, like when you're watching like comedy and a guy's bombing, and you're like, man, I kind of feel bad for this guy. You know, he's bombing in front of 10 people. This guy doesn't realize it, but he's bombing on national radio in front of fucking thousands of people. And he doesn't even realize it because they're just laughing at him on the other end. Like, this guy's an idiot. Like, I feel like there should be like, it should be like, what's that show? America's Got Talent with the X's. Like, there should be a fucking X like on the button.
Like nominating type.
Yeah.
Because like I've only called into trivia shows, Pat a few times, but never got on air. And then I called in a Barstool Radio to make fun of Riggs's laser eye surgery.
Oh,
and I got through. And like each of those times were like drastically different. Because the Big If True, everybody wanted to be on Big If True. So like you were just calling, getting a busy signal, calling again until you eventually got through, which sometimes would be like 200 times. And you'd get through on like time 197. All in the span of like 20 minutes. The McAfee one, I happened to call in after times he'd clear the board and be on there, just never got on there. And it made sense to me, and the call screeners were cool all the time that I did. And then the one with Barstool Radio, when it was actual the show, was the most lax. I was like coming in high energy, like thinking I was going to be short, sweet, and to the point, and Dave let me ramble about Riggs's eyes for a good 5 minutes. So,
yeah, and that's one thing. Like, for instance, like when I would call into Pat was usually like, depending on the day, he would be like, get to the point. Or like the time I called in and he found out my nickname was Dirt, he let that run. Like shit like that. Like there's certain, but like for instance, some radios let you fucking ramble on. I don't know if you ever listened to CCK anytime Dylan called in.
Oh, Dominican Dylan.
I fucking love that guy. I really want to know what his Twitter is. If someone out there knows what his Twitter is, fucking DM me because I want to talk to that guy because he's fucking interesting.
Because all the times, because like during my route, I would only tune in about half of CCK because it would be the time where I'd actually get good reception enough to actually like listen to stuff. And so I'd hear, because oftentimes he'd just be the second half hour of the show. It's just him and just them riffing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, fuck. I want a part of that.
Yeah. I mean,
half hour time.
Yeah, because I mean, they let him fuck. Like he might as well have been fourth chair on that show for God's sake.
Yeah,
like seriously, it should have been CCKD. Like fuck,
CCK double D.
No shit. No shit. I mean, that's one thing I miss about Barstool Radio is like callers, because I listen to Pat's show, but I feel like those callers. Pat has it like down to where it's like you're calling in about something, you're going to say what you're calling in about, and then I'm going to hang up.
Right.
I kind of like the.
It's not like how he was. It's not like how he was the first time where he let you. He'd pull a caller up and just riff on you for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and like I understand where he's coming from because like, I mean, there were some great callers. back in the
But
day.
like sports talk radio callers are just, I don't know what it is. Whether it's just like
different vibe.
they just want to rattle off stats and try and be an impressive dick showing competition. And I'm like, I don't really want that a lot. I want to laugh at the dick showing competition.
I don't want to talk about stats. I want to talk about the one time I had to shit in the back of my garbage truck. God damn it.
Right?
Like, fuck. Come on.
Like
I'm not going to.
Pissing down the middle of Bow Street in Lincoln. That's the stuff I want to hear about.
Yeah. Like, come on. Fuck this. I don't know. It's weird. This is how this show is going to go. Like, this show, it's going to get like this to where it's going to be like, oh, I mean, we're supposed to be talking about phone call etiquette. I mean, we're talking about it.
Yeah, it's how it relates to radio programming. And we want to grow this thing to a point where we can have a network full of people.
Yeah.
So this is fundamental in understanding.
Yeah. And it's like one of these things to where this show, with the different combinations of people we're going to have, this conversation would be completely different with, like, I don't know, Tanner and Tone.
Right?
Because I have a feeling like Tone is more of a, he's a little bit more less 4-letter words if he's dealing with like this type of situation where we're talking about etiquette.
He's more about the thought-provoking gotcha bitch type of moments.
Yeah. I don't think, like, we talked about it in the DMs. Like, last week, Flegs, Tanner, they both said they did 18 minutes or 12 minutes of research. I talked to I talked to Gems for like 30 minutes before this, and we talked about nothing to do with this topic. And I sure as shit didn't look up anything about this topic.
Like, I'm just basically spitballing off of experience.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only knowledge I have. Like, I didn't research it at all. I was just going to basically say I was going to be bad for half hour, 45 minutes.
This is a random question. Do you have silence unknown callers on your phone?
Yes, and it's on.
It's on?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't someone tell me about this before last week? Like,
I'm surprised you didn't, like, when you update, do you update your phone at all?
Oh, I update my phone quite regularly.
I mean, but we can fucking turn this into fucking phone etiquette about software updating too. So
yeah.
But one of the times it updated, it should have just been automatically on. But surprised it's not. But you have a later generation than I do, so that probably makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, because I was like, when I heard about it, I was like, so you're telling me I've been dealing with telemarketers this whole time and I didn't have to?
Yeah. It's nice. Like, they get sent to voicemail, sure, for a couple of them, but they log it all in Apple. Like, there's a database of just all these fucking numbers calling people and spamming them, and they see the pattern, and they'll just automatically go bye-bye. And, like, the call happens, and you have the number, but they'll delete it. They'll make you miss the call. They won't send it to voicemail, and essentially you just have the number there, but that's it.
That's fucking great, because there's nothing worse than an insurance scam or something like that. Like, I keep getting I got calls for a long time, like, your car insurance is expiring, or like, your warranty on your car.
Yeah, that's the one I get a lot, is the warranty one. Like, your Toyota warranty's out of style. Like, I have 2 of them, for fuck's sakes.
Like, I pay for a warranty.
Yeah,
monthly.
I pay for one, like, through my loan, and I pay for a monthly one for the one that the other one doesn't catch.
Yeah,
monthly. So I know they're good.
I'm fine. I don't need to. It's funny you say Toyota, because that's the exact one I have. It's your Toyota warranty, blah, 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 blah. And it infuriated me. But one of the funniest telemarketing scams I've ever seen. So this is hilarious. It was my dad. My dad got this one.
Oh, God.
My dad got a call 2 months ago. And it was like, blah, blah, blah has passed away and his funeral expenses have not been paid. But blah, blah, blah was my dad. They were like, Daryl Watson's funeral expenses have not been paid. And it was like Greensboro or something like that where they were calling from. And it was like a person calling. It was a scam. It was a total scam. And my dad's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm Daryl. He's like, well, no, Daryl's dead. Like, you need to pay his funeral expenses. This is his son, right? He's like, no.
This is
My dad's
Daryl.
name isn't Daryl. I am Daryl. And my dad fucking argued with this guy for 30 minutes. I don't know. Like, he was like, my dad was screaming, yelling. And this guy is like, he thinks he has my dad on the hook for something because my dad's old, for one. My dad doesn't know how technology works. My
And
dad didn't realize.
that's who those people are targeting, is the people who are older, don't necessarily the most technologically inept.
Yeah. And my dad's yelling at this guy and he's like talking. And my dad calls me. It's like, Ronnie, you'll never fucking believe this. I'm dead. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm dead. According to this guy that called me, I'm dead. I'm like, Dad, I think it was a scam. So, me and this guy argued for 30 minutes. I was like, normally scammers don't argue for that long. I'm like, either you were one, very entertaining, or two, he thought you had you cornered into something, or three, he was trying to get more information out of you.
Yeah, he's probably doing that, trying to get more info to try and hack him or something.
And my dad's like,
send me your social security card and we can validate that for you, or something along the line. You know?
yeah. Well, what's funny is my dad, I think they asked him for a social security number. My dad doesn't know his. My dad, he's like, I don't know my social security number and I don't need to because I'm fucking alive. And I was just like, when he told me that, I was like, I mean, I don't think you just like avoided identity theft, but
Right.
I mean, job.
But that's still, I mean, that's kind of a gnarly move if you think about it. Just be so to the point that you just don't really give a fuck about your social security number and just like not know it. Because like, I don't know about like you in fucking elementary school, but in all throughout school, our social security number is like used to like check grades and stuff.
Oh,
So
really?
that's like pretty ingrained in my head. I don't know if that's the case for like you, but
well, I'm weird about numbers. So, like, I know my credit card number by heart. I know my debit card number by heart. I know my social security number by heart, and I know my driver's license by heart. Those are all things I have to know, or else I fucking go crazy. Like, if I get a new debit card, credit card, anything, I memorize the number.
I feel bad because like I don't, like I have 2 debit cards, 2 credit cards, and I couldn't tell you the numbers on any of them.
Yeah, like for instance, so me and my wife, we were ordering a new capture card for my stream setup, right? So my wife's like, "Oh, okay, well, like I'll order it. Do you want to go get my purse and get me the credit card?" I said, "You don't need it." And I like rattled off the number to her. She's like, "You sure this is it?" And I said, "Positive." She's like, "How the fuck do you know that?" I'm like, "I have to, like, these are things I have to know for some reason." She's like, "So you spend how long memorizing these?" I said, I stared at that credit card for 30 minutes when we first got it. She's like, "Why?" I said, I don't know. I'm like, I also have to memorize certain people's cell phone numbers.
Yeah, like, that's a given, especially in this day and age.
Well, my big thing was, so when I was in high school, I was in 8th grade. I was told by my 8th grade science teacher that I better learn everyone who's close to me's cell phone or phone number because I'm probably going to go to jail quite a bit.
Logic here during college, like I was like, I gotta know girlfriend, I gotta know Anthony, I gotta know my mom. And those are the 3 numbers I really know.
Yeah, I've only had to call. I've never been to jail, but I've had to call. Who did I call that night? I called my roommate when I was in college. So I had a roommate from San Diego, giant Chargers fan. You two would actually fucking get along great because he's a computer guy.
Fuck yeah. Anyway,
so I call him because this was the night that I pissed in the fountain in the middle of Bidwell Park, and they tried to arrest me for public indecency, and then they realized I was too drunk to realize where I was. And he probably thinks he's in a bathroom, but they wouldn't let me go out of the car or anything until I called someone to come out and get me. And my phone was dead. So the cop hands me his phone. He's like, do you know anyone inside the dorm's number? If not, I'm going to take you to jail. And I remembered my roommate's number, luckily. I call it. Yeah, that was the only time this stupid memory of mine's ever fucking came in handy. Like, yeah, making a quicker purchase on fucking Best Buy is great and all. But not going to jail because you memorize a cell phone number, pretty great.
That is pretty good.
Yeah. When I told my mom that, because I tell my mom basically every stupid story that ever happens to me, she's like, well, like, why didn't you, like, just, like, tell him that you're okay or have him walk you in? I said, no, I was going to jail if I didn't remember that. She's like, I guess it's glad that your 8th grade teacher said that you were going to go to jail and you better memorize people's cell phone numbers.
You were shook after that point, apparently.
Yeah, because the thing was, my cousin just went to jail right before that, and I was a shithead. I'm going to admit this, like, clear and honest. I was a shithead when I was in 7th and 8th grade. I think I had 165 missing assignments my 8th grade year. I just didn't do homework, and I passed.
Fuck. That's how
I passed every class except one. I didn't pass an English class, which subsequently made it to where I couldn't technically pass 8th grade, but I was too old to be in 8th grade in the first place, so they just go on.
Gotta love No Child Left Behind.
No child left behind. No man left behind. It's just like the military. Except this time they're just trying to get rid of me because we only had in our whole school, it was 105 people in my middle school. Our whole school.
Shit.
That was kindergarten to 8th grade.
That'd be nice.
It was nice, but I didn't care. Like, our 8th grade basketball team was really our 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade basketball team.
I believe it.
But no, that's how small. And luckily she told me, like, hey, you're going to go to jail. You're going to need to know numbers. You better be good with numbers. So, yeah, only time a fucking cell phone numbers ever saved my life. But if you were a telemarketer, would you take like the like, I'm trying to make as many calls as possible and get denied as many times as possible? Or would you be like one of these guys like trying to sell you on stuff like the asshole who keeps calling me from AT&T?
Can speak to that because I was.
Were you a telemarketer?
Not a telemarketer for a company. I was a telemarketer for our local university, essentially, soliciting donations from alumni and telling them about what's going on around campus. So I would basically be a telemarketer asking for money from alumni while giving them 2 sentences about, oh, this is what's going on around campus. And so I've been down that road.
I actually kind of did something similar when I was in high school. I would call businesses and say, hey, because we got to play a game at Autzen Stadium, which is Oregon Ducks Stadium.
Right.
But we need money to bus fans up because we didn't want to play in an empty stadium.
Right.
So I came up with a great idea. Let's just call businesses and try to get them to donate money. We can put their name on the side of the bus on a fucking piece of paper that would fly off by the time you left town. And you know, those $2,000 fines signs that are all over I-5, apparently those don't matter because we littered all over Interstate 5. Luckily, it all ended up in the back of the garbage truck I drove. Anyways, I would call businesses and it's like back to the phone call etiquette. Like, I would be like totally like professional. I mean, as professional as a fucking 18-year-old kid can get. And I would be like, hey, like, I'm blah, blah with, you know, the school, Warwick High School. We're looking for donations, blah, blah. Like, and they were like, I mean, I guess we can. Do we get anything for the donation? I'm like, yeah, you get this nice, you know, I think it was like a 2x3 piece of paper that I would handwrite your thing on, and then I would stick it to the side of the bus. And I remember about like the 30th person I called, they're like, so is it like laminated? And I'm like, no. Should it be? And he's like, I just have a feeling it's going to fly off. I'm like, I'm like, we got good tape, man. We didn't have good tape. I just had packing tape that I stole from the movie company my family had.
Trying to think of what my script was. Hi, my name is Tyler. I'm here from the University of Nebraska Foundation. Here asking for your donation here to the Give Nebraska campaign. Something along those lines. Insert what you're doing on campus, and then once it got to that point, oftentimes it was either because some of these because they do them in like 2-year cycles, where like they do half the alumni will get a call, and then next year the other half of the alumni will get a call. But a lot of times, people are getting calls both those years. So a lot of people will be all like, "No," and I get the fuck off. And oftentimes, the software we'd use, you'd skip them and tell them they're a no, but they would still come up on other people's stuff. So they'd still be getting calls, not necessarily from you, but from another person, even though you told them no.
Oh, fuck. That would suck.
And so, like I worked it for like 3 years. And so, like, we'd start second half of the semester, like literally like right now. And like all throughout the summer, all you would do is just call these people who you can't get a hold of and who haven't said no yet. And so that's like a lot of times you get that list done in like 20 minutes, and then you could just bullshit the rest of the time.
It's like, I don't know. What's one thing you think you could sell as a telemarketer? We know most scams don't work. But I feel like you'd have a pretty high success rate on like, I don't know, like frozen food, like a Swan's telemarketer.
I could probably I could probably social engineer info out of people like that way. Because like in my securities class, if you're dealing with a business who has like security and like buzz-in system with smart cards and all that. And like a lot of people are trying to get away into those systems, so they'll dumpster dive, call a number, and be all like, "I want to have blah blah blah" on my phone, and they'll try and extract various bits of info to figure out things to hack that they can use as their username and password, and try and hack in there so that they can gain themselves access. So like, I think I could do that, but beyond like actual selling stuff, fuck, I'm terrible. I think I netted in my university gig like $3,000 over my 3 years, and I'll tell you, like 1,500 of it came my third year. So I'm pretty terrible selling shit.
I have to do calls every now and then for like construction stuff. So like I do call businesses and be like, "Hey, like, do you need an upgrade on service? Do you need this? Do you need that?" And I'm pretty decent at upselling people on things. But I really feel like there are like industries that you could sell a shitload of stuff on. Like I'm sure if you were in like, let's say me and you go into business and we start a fucking weed delivery service like an Amazon, right?
We'd rock the West Coast.
And just fucking like start it in, I don't know, San Francisco.
Okay.
And you buy a list of phone numbers from a company that sells your information, because we all know every fucking internet thing sells your information, right?
Your ISPs are selling our information as we speak. Even you listening.
Tinfoil hat. Get your tinfoil hats on. But if we just got like those lists and we just started cold calling people in the Bay Area, for instance, I'm sure you could talk a good amount of people into it. You just need to have, decent people skills. Like, I think that's how a lot of these, like, normally, like, people are like, "Oh, telemarketers don't work." Well, I mean, sometimes they have to if they're going to keep doing this. Businesses don't just lose money on purpose.
No.
Like, think about, like, do you have a cable provider or, like, a dish?
I mean, we had Spectrum, but we just switched to Hulu, and I like it way better.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, I have DirecTV. I'm gonna get rid of it soon because everything's on streaming now. So I'm just gonna cut the cord. I don't know how I'm gonna watch football yet. Probably illegally. Probably
Dude,
shouldn't have said that out loud.
I mean, Hulu's the shit. Like,
Just
my Spectrum package had no sports, and Hulu has like all the sports. Granted, no NFL network, but I mean, it's only good 4 months out of the year anyway.
no shit. But like AT&T calls all the time, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna upgrade you to the HBO Max, whatever, for fucking 4 months for free." And then like they like say some shit fast. And what they're saying right there is like, "Hey, like after this 4 months, it's staying on your bill."
Yeah.
So like a lot of people like me, I don't like calling and fucking being like, "No, I'm not gonna pay this." That's why I'm just gonna call and say I don't want any business from you.
Right.
I'd rather do that than call and be like, "Hey, like I'm too cheap to do this." I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, I just don't want you in my life." I'm very good at that part. but I mean, telemarketers have to work because it's not like a fucking multi-billion-dollar company like AT&T is going to pay 1,000 people who probably don't live in the United States to call people. You know what I mean?
Like they're probably cranking out. I'd have to say probably at least 100 calls a day.
Oh yeah.
Because like I know with my list, like I average about 70, but I'd run out of time before my list was completed most of the time. So like I know
it's
they're
like
at least north of 100.
Well, another thing, like, so my wife wants to start working from home. So I did some research into it. And a lot of them are sales jobs, telemarketing. I told my wife, I said, telemarketing is the devil. But if the devil pays you, take the money. And she's like, I don't know if I'd want to do that. And like, I looked into it, and some of them are commission sales.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. Could you imagine, like, your whole income being completely based on commission?
Depends on what you're schlepping, because there are some even like stores in the mall that operate that way.
I mean, imagine if you're like some dumb, like, what's that show? The Office? Dunder Mifflin? Paper sales? Like,
or like,
I never realized it. That's a fucking telemarketer mill. Holy shit.
Yeah. Or schlepping ink to like I know, because like a lot of the businesses that pick up mail, they a lot of these ink companies have mail service, and like there's telemarketers that call them to solicit about their ink service for these fucking printers.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But ink is like gold.
It depends on what you're schlepping in the telemarketing game, but if you're schlepping something that everyone needs, essentially like a toilet paper type material.
Imagine like if you were, oh my God. Why didn't we think about this before? We should have started a telemarketing company selling toilet paper in the middle of the pandemic.
That's what we should have done. Like we should have just hijacked some fucking trees in Montana and we hijacked the fucking paper towel mill. We got that going.
So get this. So when everyone was out of toilet paper, I wasn't out of toilet paper for like 2 months here. Like,
neither was I either.
But the thing is, word travels fast in California.
Oh, fuck.
And after 2 months, after all the news stories of toilet paper being gone were out of the news, then we were out of toilet paper, and that didn't get covered at all. Do you know why?
Why?
Because we were in a fucking small town. No one gives a fuck. We were completely out. I remember going to Walmart, and I was like, where the fuck are the Lysol wipes? Where the fuck is the toilet paper? Like, and I remember I was like, fuck. I called my uncle. I'm like, hey, I'm stealing toilet paper from our work. Because he prepared. He bought 2 pallets of toilet paper. I don't think I'm going to need shit paper at work for a good year and a half.
That's a lot of TP.
It's a lot of TP. It's fucking like few. I think it was like 1,000, almost 1,000 rolls. It was like 700 and something rolls. Yeah, he fucking straight like doomsday preppered our shop. I think we have, have you ever seen Simple Orange
Yeah.
The degreaser hand soap
Right.
that feels like you're using sandpaper. We have like 30 gallons of it.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was going hard. Because we weren't sure how it was going to go up here. We really weren't. And that's when telemarketers were killing it, because we had one guy call and be like, "Hey, do you need degreaser stuff? I'm making a large order. I can send it to you for this much." And my uncle couldn't have said yes fast enough. I wonder if that guy was making commission, because that's a fucking big sale.
Has to, at least if he's just making it or making the order himself, he's probably saving pennies on the dollar, I reckon.
Like, goddamn, like I never thought about it that way. Could you imagine if you were like one of these assholes who buy like everything, like one of these, like the guy who bought all the 3080 graphics card, the GTX 3080 graphics cards, those companies that use bots to buy all of them. I don't know if anyone else is going to know what I'm talking about. It's kind of a nerdy thing to say, but TA knows what I'm talking about, so it makes sense.
Upper level I'm here.
Anyways, when they just bought all those, like they basically could set the market at whatever the fuck they wanted. And they did.
Yep.
Bad.
Totally.
Imagine doing that with toilet paper. Fuck, we missed out. I wish I would have thought about that. I really wish I would have thought about that, because all this time that I was bragging to everyone about the fact we had toilet paper, I could have just been buying all that shit, because they didn't put a fucking limit on it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either, because like after my dad died, like people brought you necessities like that. Like we had like 4 big old fucking mega load bags of fucking toilet paper. So it was just like when everyone was out, we were like, we're sitting pretty, cuz on a recliner of TP, you know?
I'm looking around in this room. I could have filled this room halfway up with toilet paper with last year's tax return. I'm not getting one this year, but I could have fucking bought a bunch of toilet paper and put it in this bitch.
I think I'm gonna get like $150. That's about it though.
Ah, fuck taxes. Can we just say that?
Yeah, but yeah, and also fuck the IRS. They ain't taking calls this year, so it's gonna make people's lives easy a lot.
Where the
harder.
fuck are the? Come on, where's the phone call etiquette? I need to fucking call you about something.
They're the worst at it because they'll leave you on hold for 4 hours while they're dealing with other people. And then you get to them 4 hours later and you're in a crabby mood. They're in a crabbier mood. And so it's just like a shit show. Unless you have TurboTax pulled up there and fucking doing the taxes. And you're like, I need this number to work. I send it. And they go like, okay, it didn't work. Asshole.
Where are the... Man, I used to... maybe it's because I have the silencing unknown callers thing. Last year I had like quite a few different tax companies be like, "Oh, file our taxes with us."
That's how I got.
And they were like legit companies.
That's how I got into tax trouble, because like I get these identity filing notices that I'd have to use these personal identification numbers, and I'd use the personal identification number. Shit wouldn't never work. Call the IRS saying the fucking number you provided me doesn't fucking work, and basically bicker with them from there.
Do you think Marco ever is going to do his taxes?
I don't know, but it doesn't look good when we conversated with Al from Dallas last night. And well, the only thing Marco had to say on the matter, he goes, I really should fucking call that guy.
Like, I called my tax person, like, phone call etiquette. We're staying on topic, people. Don't think I'm straying away from phone calls. I'm going to talk about phone calls.
No, it's just the IRS fucking triggered me. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, I'm totally cool with that. I'm good at circling shit back because I talked to my tax lady today because I owe money. Yeah, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck. I think I'm gonna have to hire someone to do my taxes because I've always done my own. Like, I mean, fuck. We were filing my company taxes the other day, and it was just like me and a couple of my family members. Like we know taxes, but this gal knows a little taxes a little bit better than I do, like personal tax. Like I can deal with business expenses and shit. But she's like telling me about all these tax breaks. There's a lot of tax breaks.
Especially for you, Mr. I'm a small business guy.
So here's the interesting part about that type of stuff. Because it's split up so many ways, the brakes aren't that good.
That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
Tell me
so
why is it broke?
I get all the bad with none of the good.
Is it broke beyond 5 ways?
Yeah.
Okay, then that makes sense then.
Yeah. It's
that is
7 ways. All the benefits and none of the benefits, all the trouble.
Yeah, that sucks.
And only 5 of us work at the company. Two are non-working. So that sucks.
Yikes.
Yeah. Anyways, but no, it's when I talked to the tax gal and she told me about all this stuff, I told her, I said, this is the most pleasant phone call I've gotten in a while. I told her, I said, I just got off the phone with my Mexican compadre about something different the other day. And it wasn't this nice because he doesn't talk very well. And he screams at his phone. I'm talking about Marco because fuck Marco.
Marco's the worst. Like, I was bitching about, like, when we met up one time, I was bitching to my wife about how Marco sometimes just never says bye.
Oh, he doesn't?
Yeah. And that got on my nerves. I was complaining about it. And my wife goes, you never say bye. I'm like, bullshit, I don't. I mean, she put up some valid defenses, but it's just like most of the time I say bye-bye, see you soon, sayonara, something.
Marco just like he just hung up on me. He just hung up on me. I was like, see you, guy. See you, man. He's like, click. I'm like, the fuck? Yeah. Talk about phone call etiquette. Fucking say something back. God damn you, Marco.
Yeah. You're in like this show. You got to end it at some point. You got to end it with a word. Like some sort of word. Don't care what the word is. Could be ciao, the universal bye. Just
I can understand. I can understand it if it's like what happened to me. When Tanner called me about this $1 million TV show podcast idea, which we'll be talking about on the Anomalies Pod. That's at the Anomalies Pod on Twitter.
That for people who have listened to this for an hour.
No kidding. If you've listened to this long, you're gonna listen to that because it's a shit show. Anyways, we just cut out and like nothing happened. So I felt bad because I'm like, man, I want to say bye to him. Because I try to always say bye or like, have a good one or whatever. Like I try to be nice. I'm not always nice. I'm kind of an asshole sometimes, but I'm trying to be nice.
Right.
But no, when you don't get to say, like, if someone doesn't say bye on a phone call, like when Marco hung up with me, I kind of got a little triggered, which doesn't usually happen. But I'm like, in my head, I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, totally. Like I've been there.
I almost called him back if he wasn't dealing with the stupid fucking house he just bought at the wrong time, because we have podcasts that we need to do, and he needs to be on podcasts and not pulling staples out of hardwood floors,
or should be sending me a package.
I'm making the statement now. Marco doesn't get his package till TA gets his.
Oh my god! He's all like. Because he's been stringing me along since Christmas.
I've been stringing him along longer than that.
I know.
I can hold out. I'll tell you what. If he still hasn't sent you something by the time we record, not this Anomalies that we're going to record today, but the next one, I'll put a shelf behind me and I'll put the jersey behind me and I'll taunt him.
Like you should put it right outside the frame. Like if you're sitting there, just put it right catty quarter from the sign behind you.
Yeah, I would literally put it like right here.
Yeah, right where your left hand is, or right handed. Yeah,
just put it right here and just hang it there. I'll just tack it up by the plastic bag and just put it there and just smile.
I mean, you can even if this carries on enough, you can send it to me. I'll fucking put it right over there.
Just start sending it. I send it to you. You send it to Flag. Flag send it to Tanner. Tanner would be tired of it by then. He'd finally send it to Marco. Talk about phone call etiquette. That's fucking That's playing a game of telephone with a stupid fucking Browns jersey, I tell you what.
All they get a fucking package to me for fuck.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't really have anything else on phone call etiquette, and we got another podcast to record here in 30 minutes.
yeah, we gotta go be funny, so we should probably wrap this up, eh?
Yeah. Hey, I just want to say something real quick. Hey, Tanner, you don't need to prepare for shit for it to be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was good, but there's some stupid funny clips that we can get out of it and put on social and all that shit. You don't got to talk shit like you did, cocksucker, fucker, motherfucker.
Oh my God, he did. I might have to actually listen back.
He might actually have to. So he said, he's like, yeah, we're going to be 10 times better than Marco and Trashman. Like he said that within the first 5 minutes.
This is going to be the fucking fire episode.
Yeah.
This one. I don't even know even if it is the hour that we've been talking.
Yeah, like, for real.
It's going to be fire.
Yeah, I'm sure, the little editing bay will go through it. This might get cut out. I hope it doesn't. Don't cut it out.
No, don't.
Nope. Not cutting it. Nope.
We should quite honestly be live and broadcasting, but infancy. We'll get there.
All right. So that was this week's episode of Whose Show Is It Anyways? Next week, our two hosts are going to be.
We gotta get that robot out of your voice.
The robot? Is it bad?
Oh my God, you're triggering me so bad right now.
I don't know how to do that.
When you host it, just pick up the tempo a little bit, and then it becomes a bit more natural.
Whoa, when I talk faster, it gets better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
When you're firing off from memory, it's just like a gear down almost.
Well, because I'm thinking. I don't have a brain that just like I'm like, you know what I mean?
Let's exit the show. Go.
All right. So next week's episode is going to be Jim's and Ashley, right?
Ashley. Smoking pot moms.
Yeah, Ashley from Smoking Pot Moms.
Even an entity.
Yep.
Might be 3 people instead of 2.
And their topic is 90s TV shows. Why the fuck doesn't people give me those type of topics?
We had a bullshit topic, and it was just like all sorts of stupid ass topics, and to follow that, that's a bomb ass one.
So if you're listening to this, anyone who picks out topics, I'll keep giving great topics like That 70s Show and video games, stuff that you can actually talk about. If people don't start, playing some hardball and putting out some good pitches on some of the topics, I'm gonna start picking shit like wastewater treatment plants.
Oh, I have a vendetta. I was gonna go from smooth jazz to
smoothies.
Smoothies.
And we're gonna end it on that. You guys have a good whatever weekend, day, night. You know how it is.
Go us. End it, Gems.